it for me. Yeah. Anyway, what is it? Dynamite comes in small packages.
That's right.
All right. Yeah, good to see all of you. And we did see out this morning, and it was the females and the males. I don't know why, but they're in two different places there. All right. Well, last time I was here, I talked about our quantum powers and how we can reach up and just really, manifest anything we want. And I talked about this red Ferrari. If you really want a red Ferrari, you reach up there and you can look out into your driveway one morning and there it will be. Well, I was thinking about that. And I was thinking, wait a minute, if I had a red Ferrari, my insurance would go sky high. And then I thought, if it ever had to be repaired, and then I thought, where would I park it so nobody would ding it? And then I thought, oh my gosh, I'd have to wash it every day because you do not drive around in a dirty red Ferrari, do you? And then I thought I would lose all my friends because I would not let anybody drive my red Ferrari. So then I thought, it reminded me of one of our greatest teachings. We are free to make any choice we want, but we're not free of the consequences of those choices. So I decided my friends are much more valuable than a red Ferrari. So I'm not going to manifest that. So anyway, I'm really excited to share with you the teachings of the quantum field of unlimited possibilities. And we are not used to thinking of possibilities as unlimited. We're used to thinking about the limited possibilities that we see with our human mind and our human eyes. But I want to remind you that we are a partner in this universe. And we all, I think, understand oneness. So if there's only oneness, we have to be a part of it, and we have to be a partner with all of it. And that's where our power comes from. That to create anything we want. Now the universe instantaneously supports you by bringing to you experiences that will give you all of your desires and thoughts. Instantaneously, it brings it to you. It can be no other way. That's how the universe works. So doesn't that kind of mean that we should really know what we're thinking and what we're saying and what we're doing every moment? Because when we're aware of that, we realize what's happening. Now, I've talked to you about this many times, about being very aware of what you're thinking and saying and doing. And I want you to really realize that you're creating your every moment with those thoughts and those words and those actions. Jean Houston says, to put it another way, as viewed, so appears. As viewed, so appears is itself the equation or formulation of how we co-create with this dreamlike universe of ours. As viewed, so appears is describing, while simultaneously being, an expression of the utterly creative, up for grabs, fluid nature of our waking reality. And she says, as viewed, so appears, is as all-pervasive a universal law in the realm of consciousness as gravity is in the physical dimension. How we observe anything, and that includes our beliefs, our prejudices, our habits, and our hopes, is how things will come into being. Or everything is in a state of possibility until it is perceived. And that is why you have to clean up your act, so that your perception is not haunted by old, outmoded thoughts and moods, but is rather fresh and new and vibrant with possibility, new beliefs. Otherwise, you get the same old stuff. And here's what I really want you to hear. Give up your notion of obstacles, and the obstacles will give up their notion of you. Give up your notion of obstacles, and the obstacles will give up their notion of you. And I want to follow that up with a quote from the A Course in Miracles. Once you accept his plan as the one function that you would fulfill, there will be nothing else the Holy Spirit will not arrange for you without your effort. He will go before you, making straight your path and leaving in your way no stones to trip on and no obstacles to bar your way. So let's referring back to Jean Houston's quote. She calls cleaning up your act inner hygiene. You brush your teeth. Do you brush your mind? Okay? Or do you just let it go stale and flat, she says. When you brush your mind and cleanse your emotions and habits, it is as if the universe woke up to who you really are. It's like, wow, good, we got a live one here. We can do something with this one. So, for a long time, we have perceived this as an earth school. And we've looked at it as we've come here, to learn all these lessons and go through all these experiences so we can learn those lessons. But what I'm reading now from all of our spiritual leaders is school is over, okay? And because we need to grow up now. And the reason we need to do that is because our Mother Earth is in trouble. Okay, and so we need to get over all that stuff, grow up, cleanse, do that inner hygiene, and get on with the work that is needed to be done here if we are to save our Mother Earth and even our species. So this is critical. It's a very, very critical time on our planet. And I have this feeling in my heart that with all these fires and earthquakes and all of the things that are going on, it's almost like Mother Earth's angry. She's saying, wake up, wake up, wake up. Now, this is just my feeling, but it's growing. So when we wake up and we express our love and our wisdom, Mother Earth will respond to that also. Because right now there's so much out there that is not of love. I think she's responding to that. A Course in Miracles says, for the time comes quickly when this planet will not be willing to tolerate untidy house guests that are not willing to vibrate at the frequency of being toward which the planet herself is preparing to move. Therefore, be not caught by coming home one day and discovering that the landlord has changed the locks and you have not a place to rest your head. Kind of feels like that's what we're going through right now, isn't it? So this is time to grow up. And Earth School is over. Now we have to do something. So let's look at the cocoon. It's like we've been in a cocoon, and we'll use that as a metaphor of all the lifetimes that we've come here. And it is the place where we have been, and we have prepared, we've been dissolved, we've been put back together in all these different lifetimes and in all these different experiences. And it's like we come back together for a regenesis of our higher self. And now, with all of that we've done for generation after generation after generation, and lifetime and lifetime and lifetime, it's time now that we decide to come out of that cocoon and be that beautiful butterfly that we truly are. So that's what I think Mother Earth is asking us to do. So it's time to graduate, in other words. But to do this, we must participate with the universe. We must understand that we are endowed with unlimited possibilities. We must get over the thoughts of being unworthy, powerless, okay? Because everyone is worthy, and all we are is this bundle of power that we have forgotten that we've had. And so when we come into partnership with the universe, that's when, as I was describing last time, we enter into the quantum field. The quantum field where all things are possible, even red Ferraris. So, UUU has 7 principles, wonderful principles. And I know that you're all very familiar with them. And these 7 principles reflect a vision of a wonderful existence on this planet. Equity, justice, compassion and freedom, liberty, peace, the worth and dignity of every person, and the oneness of life, of all existence. So is that what we're seeing today? Not very much, is it? So as you read these principles, can you see that they are what we are seeking in the world? This is what we're seeking in the world. And you see that they are principles that we believe will bring the kingdom of heaven to earth, or in our modern, language, the quantum field. And this is what our scientists is calling it now, the quantum field. They won't call it the kingdom of heaven. So, if this is what our principles are seeking, why are we not seeing it in the world? Because there's a lot of people, I think, that are seeking the same thing. Because they're honorable principles, and they're honorable visions. As viewed, so appears. So in every moment of your life, you are either viewing from your wisdom consciousness, your quantum powers, or you're viewing from a place of fear and separation. And it is our choice between the kingdom or a dream. It is a choice everyone makes every moment of your life, whether you know that or not. So being in a place of fear keeps your focus on what you do not want. And it keeps us feeling separate, and it keeps us feeling that we're alone and powerless. That's what fear does to us. However, remember that the universe itself spontaneously reflects back to you your desires and your thoughts. And it does not distinguish between thoughts of fear or wisdom. That's because we have free will to create whatever we want. So therefore, if you are thinking what you don't want, that's what's going to come to you. But if you're thinking about what you want, that's what's going to come to you. In this world, we have a lot of fighting going on, don't we? We fight against war, we fight against poverty, we fight against hunger, we fight against discrimination, we fight against drugs. The focus is on what we don't want. And I know you don't want to hear this, but that's what we're keeping to us, because that's what we're thinking about. And that's our experience, isn't it? We still have drugs, we still have tremendous hunger, all these things. So that's the way the universe works. So we need to start thinking about what we want. Mother Teresa was asked to march in an anti-war march, and she said, "No, I will not, but if you have a peace march, I will be there." She understood this concept. So all the fighting that we have done for so many years has not solved any of our problems. So it has exhausted us. It has led so many into depression and suffering. So instead of seeing the world as not living up to our founding principles, using judgments and labels and preconceived notions and, about what is happening out there, what if we focused on viewing the world differently in alignment with all of those life-enhancing principles that the Unitarians have? Now, your brain is going to say, that's ridiculous. That's not what's happening out there. Well, that's exactly that's true. It's because we're not seeing it any differently. So if we change the way we look at things, then what we do is we open up the way for the things that we look at to change. And as Abraham Hicks tells us, Wayne Dyer also, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Very powerful. I may have shared this true story with you before, but a teacher who taught in one of the poverty areas of a big city Everyone knew that her students were impoverished and they would amount to nothing. And then several years later, I'm really shortening this story, but several years later, another professor wanted to follow up on that. And when he did, he found that 95% of her students were very successful and went on to have wonderful lives. The 5% was either they had died or they couldn't find them. And so he found this teacher and he asked her, what happened? I mean, these are impoverished kids that are supposed to, not do well. And she said, well, I love them. And she said, I only saw their potential. I only saw their potential. As viewed, so appears. So that's what I think we should be doing for our world out here. Instead of measuring the world against principles and rules and regulations, let's look out there and see what we want. That is very powerful. And you might think, oh, I'm not going to make any difference. Of course you are. Just think if we all go together and do that, how powerful that is. In fact, Greg Braden and Lynn McTaggart did experiments that showed that the square root of 1% of a population has a powerful and measurable effect on the population. The square root of 1%. Now, I think I used 9 billion or something for the world. That's 8,000 people. Can we do that? Of course we can. And so all we have to do is encourage people to look at what they want and get out of that, grow up kind of thing. That sounds harsh, but we really do need to grow up. And that's why we need to raise our consciousness to those levels of empowerment. And I call them the quantum powers, because when you are in those quantum powers, that's where you make things happen that you really, really want. So the first step in doing all of this is we have to accept what is. Most people cringe at that. But really, you cannot transcend what you do not accept. I am not talking about condoning anything. I'm talking about accepting what is, so then we can use our wisdom to do something. But if we don't accept it, we're still fighting. And we're actually keeping it here if we don't accept it. So what is. And so as soon as you accept it, you let go of all those blocks that get in the way to changing them. It's kind of like damming up a river and allowing only the water to come through. While the dam is this huge, large reservoir, this wonderful water, this essence of life, and yet we only let a trickle of it come through because we're trying to control it. We can't control anything, but we really spend a lot of energy trying to do that, don't we? Control everything. The universal quantum powers of creation are built on flow. In fact, no effort is required when you come from that quantum wisdom of yours. All blocks which have created so much effort in our lives are demolished the moment you let go of the ideas of the world that we must fight everything. This does not make any sense to the logical brain, as I said, and the ego will fight you the whole way. Because the ego hasn't solved anything for us, right? And as soon as we reach into our quantum powers, the ego kind of dissolves, and it doesn't really want to do that. So don't listen to your ego. The Way of Mastery reads, "For there is a way of being in the world that requires no planning or striving, though to enter it does require the relinquishing of fear. To enter it requires a commitment to teaching only love until the mind is again whole and undivided." Where the mind is again whole and undivided is when we are living from our quantum powers and that higher consciousness of wisdom. Again, when we choose acceptance or allowing of what is, we move into the flow, which takes us to the solutions. Then we get out of this hamster cage that we've been in for so long. Now, what will stop you dead in your tracks is doubt. Wayne Dyer, and I trust him. Even from the other realm, I trust him. He's coming through, through his daughters and everything. He's not giving up at all. But I was reading one of his books one time, and he described, he was playing tennis with this really, good tennis player, and he was determined to return this serve, because this guy was just an ace server, right? So what he did was, in his mind, he created the whole thing. He saw the serve, he saw him returning it, he could hear it in his mind, and he just created it exactly like he wanted to do. The guy served. Wayne Dyer said he ran for the serve, and it was like the ball slowed down and waited for him, and he returned that serve. Now you think that's not possible. I think it's possible. I really, truly think it's possible, and I believe him. I believe him. So the thing is, he had full trust in his quantum powers. He knew that he could do it. And that's what these quantum powers are all about. This is how you can create your life any way you want. Now, the story is about a tennis shot, right? However, it really reflects the principles of our lives. Because everything from playing tennis to our health and our abundance and our happiness and joy are based on our responsibility for our thoughts, our actions, and our words. Now, we don't have time today. However, I've had a lot of these types of experiences, and I know you have too. I know you have. So you can restore your life through accessing your quantum powers and choosing patterns for your life to come. You can try out new possibilities on the screen of your mind. You can imagine things that you want to accomplish. You can have richer relationships. You can change everything about your life when you go there and you see it, you feel it, you taste it, you hear it. Matt Kahn says, you're never out of alignment with your journey. You can only be out of alignment with your ideas. So before our meditation, I want to close with these words from Mark Hammer. Mark Hammer is the person who Yeshua, Jesus, chose to channel his works, the Yeshua letters and the Way of Mastery. And Mark says, according to Yeshua, those infinite possibilities come wrapped in two packages. One is labeled the kingdom and the other dream. The dream holds within it a seemingly infinite number of possibilities. All the worlds and the lifetimes lived before us, lived after, live now as us. And all of these worlds are founded on one cornerstone, separation. Inseparably united with one fundamental energy, the energy of fear. Collectively, we believe so strongly in it that it goes unquestioned. We live in separation from each other, from nature, from God. Because we insist on being separate, we choose without hesitation the package labeled dream, and immediately find ourselves right here, right now, in a world we have believed to be real and independent of us. Or is it but a mirror reflecting nothing but our choice? Maybe, I thought to myself, maybe the world keeps revolving around as it does, wars and greed and the like, because we insist it is real, and then struggle to find ways to deal with it. Have we given the package labeled dream our power? Have we given the very power of the sun away to our illusions? In Tibetan Buddhist metaphysics, it is said that at death the soul leaves the body and begins ascending to the clear light of the Dharmakaya, the body of truth. However, faced with the overwhelming power and beauty of this light, the soul, habitually identified with its sense of being a separate self, recoils out of fear. This recoil creates a heaviness, and the soul sinks down, eventually back into yet another round of birth and death in a physical body. And all because the soul misunderstands its own nature, insisting on being separate. Perhaps if we all decide to choose anew, right here, wherever we are, right now, whatever we are, the world we will manifest will be different. So very different. Different because we will seek not to create our world, but the world intended by a mystery forever beyond us. Yet a mystery that resides right in our very core, at the center of our own truest selves. So I'd like to ask you to join me in a few moments of meditation. So take a deep breath and get comfortable. And just close your eyes. And breathe. Just feel the life within you and be so grateful. So grateful. So this is a meditation I call the Lake of Light. It empowers me every morning. So I want you to open your crown chakra at the top of your head and allow just the light of the universe to flow into you. And I want you to envision this lake of light in your head. Every time you breathe in, the light gets brighter. Every time you breathe out, the light moves into the cells of your body. It moves into your mind. And as it does this, it cleanses and purifies, it heals, it regenerates, rejuvenates, energizes your body, your mind, and your soul. So breathe in, breathe out, and see that light flowing into your head, to your eyes, your nose, your ears and your mouth. It's getting brighter and brighter. And you see it moving down into your throat. Moves down into your shoulders. Down into your arms and into your hands. Getting brighter and brighter. Healing and cleansing. And see it flowing into your spine and your back. It is cleansing your chakras, and you see them just glowing with their beautiful colors, sparkling, energizing you. Then it flows into your chest and your heart. And your heart is so happy because it is receiving light and love, more light and love. And your light is getting brighter and brighter as it moves down into your abdomen, into those beautiful organs, healing, rejuvenating. And it moves down into your legs, your knees, your ankles and your feet. And you are a body of light, which is your true essence. Breathing in, getting brighter. Breathing out, healing, cleansing every part of your being. And from your feet you open up, and the light flows into Mother Earth. Mother earth is so happy, and she sends back her wonderful energy up into your body, and you are balanced. You are balanced in mind and body and soul. So just hold that vision for just a moment of silence. You are now filled with quantum powers. You are now filled with wisdom to create exactly what you want. And the universe, your partner, is supporting all of this. So let us take a deep breath as we begin to bring our attention back into this room. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. And breathe. Breathe. I do that every morning. It really starts your day out well. Let me ask you. It's great. So I thank you very much. I also want to invite you to the class today. We are visiting an old friend, I call him, and Don Miguel Ruiz. We're doing the 4 agreements. And this time it's don't take anything personally.